Did you know that the most dangerous moment in an abusive relationship isn't the first hit? It's the moment you try to leave? A nurse and mother of 5 spent her final moments running barefoot through dark suburban streets while the man she called her knight in shining armor, the fiancé she was supposed to marry in less than a year, chased her down with a gun, executed her in cold blood at 2:30 a.m., then barricaded himself inside their home for 5 hours, firing at police while paramedics watched helplessly as she bled to death just feet away, unable to save the woman who had posted about her dream wedding just 6 days earlier. This is a true story, a real woman, a real family, a real tragedy that happened on September 16, 2021, in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. If you know someone who's been trapped in a toxic relationship, or if you've ever heard of Dena Taylor's case, please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop a comment below sharing your thoughts or even your own story, because the more we talk about domestic violence, the more lives we can save, and Dena's voice deserves to echo far beyond that tragic night so her death won't be in vain. The night air in Upper Marlboro, Maryland hung heavy with secrets about to be revealed in the most horrific way imaginable. It was September 16, 2021, and the clock had just struck 2:30 in the morning when a nightmare unfolded on the quiet suburban streets. A woman lay motionless on the cold asphalt, her blood forming dark pools beneath the streetlights. Inside a nearby home, 4 terrified children screamed into the darkness. They had just watched their mother flee through the front door with a man in murderous pursuit. The gunshots that followed would echo through their lives forever. Her name was Dena Taylor, 39 years old, a dedicated nurse, and mother to 5 beautiful children. Those who knew her described a woman who illuminated every space she entered, whose genuine warmth and infectious smile could lift the heaviest spirits. She wasn't just going through the motions at work, she poured her entire heart into caring for others, often staying late to ensure her patients felt seen and valued. But Dena's greatest strength was also her deepest vulnerability. She believed in love with the passion of a true romantic. When she committed to someone, she gave everything, her time, her energy, her very soul. The problem was her compass for choosing partners seemed perpetually miscalibrated. One toxic relationship followed another, each one draining her further, leaving her running on empty while giving endlessly to men who never reciprocated. By 2020, exhausted and emotionally depleted, Dena made a powerful declaration. She posted defiantly on social media. She would remain single by choice until someone could meet her standards. She knew her worth, emotionally, physically, financially. She refused to compress herself into spaces too small to contain her light. "Come correct or don't come at all," she proclaimed. Then November arrived, and with it, Deontay Sims. On the surface, he seemed perfect. A respected local man from a good family, the kind of neighbor who'd wave pleasantly each morning. Dena's social media began glowing with hope and excitement. Finally, she thought, she'd found her match. But the cracks appeared almost immediately. Just 5 weeks into their relationship, Dena posted about feeling disconnected, overworked, and sleep-deprived. The next day brought another troubling message about relationships failing and hard-learned lessons. These weren't the musings of a woman in love. These were distress signals. Then silence. Complete radio silence for 6 months. When Dena resurfaced online in May 2021, everything had somehow transformed. She was engaged, draped in white beside Deontay, a ring gleaming on her finger. By July, she was rhapsodizing about wedding preparations, gushing about her heaven-sent night, insisting that love isn't complicated. 6 days later, she was dead. That fateful September night began with hours of escalating arguments that neighbors could hear echoing through the streets. Inside, Dena's children listened to their mother's world crumbling. Then, at 2:30 a.m., terror materialized. Dena burst through the front door, running for her life, with Deontay chasing behind her. The children heard the gunshots that followed, multiple rounds fired at point-blank range as their mother fell to the pavement. Deontay calmly walked back inside while Dena bled out in the street. When police and paramedics arrived, they faced an impossible situation, a dying woman they couldn't reach. Because the shooter had barricaded himself inside, weapon ready, firing at anyone who approached. The standoff stretched into dawn, 5 excruciating hours during which help remained just out of reach. By the time negotiators finally talked Deontay into surrendering at 7:30 a.m., it was too late. Dena Taylor, the woman who believed in love, who knew her worth, who thought she'd finally found her fairy tale, was gone. The aftermath revealed the devastating truth. Deontay Sims, the nice guy everyone knew, the respectful neighbor from the good family, had executed his fiancée and ensured no one could save her. He confessed to everything without hesitation, shooting Dena, firing at police officers, orchestrating the entire murderous scenario. The charges mounted like a terrible monument: common law murder, attempted first-degree murder, multiple assaults, weapons violations, and enhancements for committing violence before minors. He accepted a plea deal: 55 years, 50 behind bars, 5 on probation. But what about Dena's 5 children? Her eldest daughter suddenly found herself raising her younger siblings, setting up crowdfunding for funeral expenses, writing tributes to a mother who was supposed to watch them grow. "You are my heart, soul, diary, #1 supporter, my everything," she wrote, her words soaked in grief too profound for someone so young to bear. The blood eventually washed away from Saisley Court, but the stain remains permanent, on the children who witnessed their mother's murder, on the family shattered by violence, on a community forced to reconcile the neighbor they thought they knew with the monster he became. Here lies the terrifying reality: abusers don't announce themselves. They look ordinary. They post couple photos. They smile at neighbors. And victims aren't weak. They're caught in cycles engineered to trap them. Dena knew her worth, set boundaries, demanded respect. But somewhere in those silent months, she convinced herself love would conquer all. It didn't. And when she finally ran, it was already too late.